at the table. And I have my water, I have my paintbrushes, I have my paints, some paper towel, and the project, which this is a drawing that I drew out on watercolor paper, so this should work fine. So I thought we'd start first with wet on wet. So I'm going to come over here to this particular leaf. You can actually take a snapshot of this drawing if you want to, and then print it out however you want to utilize it. So we're going to just go in here and get some green, and being that it's on the wet on wet, remember we talked about that, you've seen that and heard about that, and so the color's going to move around as I said, and it's going to kind of do some, I didn't wet it too much. I didn't really wet it as much as I could have. And I want to try to remember to leave, like we talked about in other videos, leave the, I got a little different green, one a little brighter green there. I want to remember to leave some white spaces, right? We talked about how the white spaces show the highlight, so we want to remember to do that. I'm going to add a little more here for a little darker. We're just going to color this, paint this all in. And no, it's not going to, I did the lines as dark like that on purpose. I wanted to use these lines this way. So it's not a mistake, it's something that I chose to do. I'm going to take some yellow here, and we're just gonna, I'm not sure what this paper is. I know it's watercolor paper, but I did this so long ago, I really do not remember what kind of paper it is, so that's okay. It seems to be working like watercolor, and as far as I remembered, it was watercolor. Now I'm going to take that paint, green, because I'm going to be going to the red paint. And I'm not going to wet this area here, although as you can see, I have this little drop of water that wants to come down and get me. Well, it isn't going to, because we just took it off. It would come in and put a big puddle in there. So without any water on the paper here, so I can get a nice, so I can really control what I'm doing there. I didn't put the water down. Now I think what we'll do is we'll come over to this other leaf, and we will come back to this leaf and add some darker colors. Well, before I move on, actually, I think I'm going to go, while it's still good and wet, I'm going to come down in here with a perline green, one of my absolute favorite colors for green. Very dark, but it's such a beautiful color. And we're just going to put that in, and then I'm going to move it around. Oh, and I meant to mention as well that I am using a round brush today for right now. It may change at some point, at any point, but for this moment, I'm using this round. So now we have some darks, we have some lights, we have a white space for the highlight, and so that one's looking good. Okay, so now we're going to come over here, and with I'm going to get a tad more water going on this one, being that I didn't put enough, either that or it's this paper that, as I said, I'm not sure which one of my, it could even be a mixed media piece of paper. As I said, it's just something I found in my stuff when I was organizing this morning, so no big deal. Okay, so I put a lot more in there, and it's moving a lot more, but not that much like it usually does, so that's okay. I'm still using this paper. We are going to work with it. I'm not going to have any problems with it. It's actually, I actually kind of like the way this, it has a bit of a roughness to it, so I mean, I just have so many materials from things. It's just incredible. I did acrylic painting for so many years. I mean, over 40 years. And I just, between brushes and, well, that's not exactly the color I wanted there. But you know what? It can work. It's gonna, if I add it in with the green, that purple will make a darker green. So that works. And anyway, I like lots of colors in my leaves and everything. I often add more colors as we go because I love the natural look that it gives when you put lots of different colors in your greens. So we're going to keep adding with this round brush. You can use whatever brush you like. If you paint it, it's totally up to you. You can choose your own kind of brush. It's always up to you what you want, what you choose to use for your brushes. The painter. It's always up, always up to the painter. A little more of that pretty green in there. I get lots of greens as well by just doing lots of blending on my palette. Lots and lots of blending. I do that actually with everything because I get these awesome colors, you know, that happen on the palette when we mix all these different colors together. I've been doing that for quite a while now, and I often get these messages, especially when I put them on a different platform. I have an art page on Facebook as well, so you can always check that out. It's in the about section. Now, what do we have here? This is, I guess I must have got a glob of paint there. This seemed to want to move very much, but that's okay. We'll make it work. See that? We made it work. And come back over here. As I said, I'm going to be going back and forth because I want to always remember that I want my darks and my lights to inhabit the same space. That's all part of it. And then we'll probably do the darker side on the right for this picture. Just something I drew for a whole nother project. But I thought it would really kind of be cool today to do, so I kind of like that. And this one's looking really cool too. It's got some different, there we go, that added. And I'm going to leave, no, I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to go in and add a bit more darks down here because it would be darker down here, shadowed. So we're just going to put that in. And then, you know, I'm going to leave that one just like that. I'm going to come back into the red and turn my work a little because I don't want to put my hand in the one that I've already done. So we're going to be over here. And with hardly any water on my brush, and there isn't any water on the paper, a tad, but it's soaking it up like incredible. So at this point there isn't much. So there's my other heart. There's a heart on the end of each one, on the tip of each one of these little leaves, these funny, these interesting leaves. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to do this leaf over here because I'm right-handed. So if I start here, then I, you know, come over, I'm going to have to try to balance my hand to not put my wrist right in there. So just for that sake, I'm coming over here to this leaf and we're going to wet it nice and wet here. And the reason why none of this spread out to the rest is right, you got it, because it's dry. See, you're getting there. The more you listen and watch, the more and learn, the more you'll answer the questions yourself. So we got some good moving around here with the paint and the water. Some of this color in there. And I'm going to grab a little Viridian. I love colors in leaves. I just love it. Just distribute them around. Grab a white space for a highlight there that we almost forgot. This one got taken out, but that's okay because I'll show you what I can do after. All right, and we'll put some more. This paper is causing the water to dry very, very quickly. So, unfortunately, it's just a, single sheet of paper that I did all these drawings on. But I know it was some sort of either watercolor or mixed media. Just sorry to say, I don't know. And it's not on there, on just the sheet. So, I'm not going to be able to know. And for the most part, it doesn't really matter because this is just an exercise. For it, you could use, excuse me, any of those. Excuse me, I lose my voice. It's a rainy day, and that's what it does to me. Rainy days take my voice. Why? I don't know. And then I'm going to come in here with a little bit of this. I wanted to show you what this can do. This little bit of, that's acrylic yellow. You really can't tell the difference, can you? On my palette, I always keep a certain amount of colors of the acrylic yellow, a green, I think it's Indian yellow, and white. And what I keep them in are these little containers from the dollar store. They each have covers, so I can keep the acrylic colors nice and moist. I keep adding water to them. Forgot to do that before I started, so add a little water there and to that one. But before I put the covers on, I always wet them. Okay, so those are looking pretty good. And we established my dark side is over here on the right-hand side. So out of there. Before it dries, once it's dried, you can't really do that. So, okay, so let's get this little more color going on this leaf. Blends of colors, that is. Use some water to move it around a little and add a little yellow like that. And because this paper is soaking up the water, the paint and water and everything, I don't have to worry about coming in here and it bleeding. I'm not using water on this heart. On the hearts, remember, I'm not using water. On the paper, that is. Just on the, I think if I did put them in first and then I chose to do the watery leaf, it would blend, it would bleed. So that's why I'm choosing to do it this way. So I'm going to go off the leaves for a few minutes. And I thought I would kind of start this really pretty rose. I'm going to start on this upper side here on this, and we're going to take a rose color because I want it to be a fairly light color, a fairly light pink, and I want to remember, and I'm not going to mind if it bleeds into the green and the green bleeds into it, because I love that when that happens. I'm not going to worry about it, about that happening. And right on I'm leaving the very tips. Tips of this petal as white as I can, because that's where the sun, my sun is, remember, coming from the left. I don't know why I chose that. I normally don't. But anyway, I did. So switch it up, I guess, right? Okay, so we're just going to move this paint around here. We just want to leave a nice top that's nice and white. that means we have to come down here and and I'm actually not going to outline this, I want these drawing lines that I made to be my outlines. So I'm not going to, I believe it's called line and paint, which is another whole way of painting. But I just chose to do that today for my own preference reasons. Or I can come back in like this and take it out, which works just fine. I'll come back in a little bit and darken up this area because closest to the flower here, like shadowed, it would be shadowed. So what I gotta do is I gotta put a, whoa, sometimes you grab a color and it's too much. So actually, I think I'll put it in now while it's wet. Because I'd like it to blend and move around. One cover down. A little darker over here. This is a round brush, a size 6. All right, we're gonna leave that one like that. And then I'm gonna come down here to this one. And this one will also be lighter. I wish I knew what kind of paper this was. Driving me crazy. Because, I mean, I know it's a type of a watercolor, but I actually am thinking that this is a watercolor paper that I bought that I used for drawing because it wasn't a good watercolor paper. I didn't notice it when I bought it. Ooh, that came out really pretty. Wow, that color right there had a little black mixed in with the rose red. I'm gonna add that right up here. That's pretty. So this is what happens. This is what I'm saying with the colors that mix on the palette. I don't touch them. I just let them keep mixing on my palette, and then these beautiful colors happen, you know. So I like that. And what I'm going to do is just take a damp brush, and I'm just going to move it around a little bit, leaving that area right there for the highlight. You see how that works? That's how the highlighting works. I'll do probably a whole lot of this off camera because I don't want this tutorial to be too long, and it's getting to get too long. So we'll do a few more. Let's see. We'll do another. We'll wet this one here. And we'll come back in here with the darker because we're on the shade side. I don't want too much water in my brush, but I do want enough. Let's see here, get a little bit more of that rose color. I do want enough for it to be wet and to be able to move it around. These are blending around with these. I do want to leave a little white space, though. Keep my sleeve out of there. Get some darker around in here. Now see, this has got a little, I think a little purple that ended up. No, it's just the black that got in there. Okay. Well, that's a good, I like that color. Okay. And we're just moving it around. And then this, actually right, it would go up under this. And this top one would be more on the lighter side. So I'm just going to add a little white with a little color in there. Like that. And then, of course, I would want to go back down in here with some darker. It's all takes time. You know, it dries light. So, you know, you go in again, and then you may want to go in again, and that's just all your preference. It's what you, I like this color, really pretty. I hope I'm not talking really too soft. I'm always told when I get concentrated on something, I start talking really soft. And I apologize if I kind of went almost out of sound. And I'm going to come back up here simply because I'm loving this color that got created there. And we want to, you know, sort of take out the hard lines with just watery brush. You don't have to. Entirely up to you. You might like the lines and want them in there. So if you do, keep them in there. As I always say, you're the creator. In this one, I'm the creator. I'm the painter. You're the painter. So, okay, so we got some good highlights on those. It's very nice. I like the way that came out. Now, I think what we'll do, oh, I know. I wanted to do this, this one under here. Whoop, a little too much water there. This one under here, which we're doing the same colors, but I think I'm going to add a little more black to that one. Although I want some highlights on the edges. So we go in, take our paint off, come back in with a dry brush. See that? And then we're just going to come back in here with some color. And there's a shade part to this because of this leaf here that's on top of it. So there's going to be a degree of shadiness there. And I'm trying to get that with a darker color here. Now, if for some reason I just couldn't get this white edge that I'm trying to keep from getting the paint on, if I couldn't do it, I could always go back in and use my white. So I guess we'll, in this one, we will do one more leaf, which will be this one here. And another thing as well that I have talked about in other ones is using the colors that you have in your painting. And I have reds, so I'm taking some red here, that same kind of red that I used for the flower. And I'm going to distribute a little bit of it. It's kind of a little darker than I wanted, and just kind of poke it in different areas. And that brings a nice harmony to your painting. So I think what the next, the leaf. Maybe I'm going to try a different color leaf here, get a little different color going on. So in with my green, I've added yellow ochre. And we're going to, so you see it's a little bit of a different green. Super important to vary up your greens within the same, painting. Again, totally up to you, but that's kind of the rule of thumb. And it certainly does look better. I honestly don't know why I lose my voice every time it's this rainy kind of weather. It's very annoying. But as you can hear, my voice is just rather gone. And I honestly don't know why that happens. Okay, we're going to got some orangey that I put into this color. Keeping that white space. We do not want to lose that white space, and we want to keep the darker side there on the right, because that's where I said that the darker space was. Get another little another color of green. I think this is a Viridian green, which is a really very pretty green. Add that in, pull some color out here and there. So that makes a pretty I like my leaves to look kind of organic. I don't like them, you know, cookie cutter type. I'm kind of that way with all my paintings. And then just take a little yellow and dab some of the yellow in, the yellows. And that leaf is going to be a little lighter. Well, this is coming out pretty. While I have this red, I'm going to come back in here where I need the shadowy areas to be. Excuse me, I might have to do this a few times till I get what I want for it. I rinsed off my brush, so it's just a damp brush, and I want to come in here and move the color around, distribute it. And I'm actually, now we're kind of where we're getting layers to it because I've moved it around so many times. Come in here to this one. I like that right there. I'm going to leave that because that came out nice. And we still have our highlight areas, of which I may end up at the very end getting some white and putting it in. But for the sake of very long videos, which this one has definitely gone too long, we're going to call it done for this one. This will be part 1. And I'm actually only going to do 2 parts because, like I said, they seem to get lost in the YouTube land. So this will be 1. I'll finish a bunch of it off camera, and then 2 will be with the same words of the title, and it will be part 2. So we'll go into that for finish it up in part 2. So have a great rest of your day, folks. Check out my other tutorials. There's some really helpful things, encouraging words, even ones on just talking and being encouraging. Just talking to you. And try to do some of the exercises and some of the techniques and paint with me. Zoom out, zoom in, slow it down, speed up. Whatever it is you got to do to do that if you're painting with me. And I'd love to see your work. I really would. So have a great rest of your day, folks, and bye for now.